Welcome to Billionaire Bankers World Content is accountable and verifiable. Listen, we back at it. We back at it. This next interview is pretty close to me, for sure. It's one of my good brothers. He's got a lot to show. Got a lot to share. All right, let's go. Welcome to Billionaire Bankers, my brother. How do you want to introduce yourself, brother? Because I know you just put me onto the book, but I know we over here to talk about what you got going on your shirt right now.
For sure. So, Thabbit, I'm a father, a husband, first and foremost, beloved family member, brothers to my fellow Muslim brothers and sisters. But outside of that, I'm a real estate investor, I'm an author, ex-felon, ex-corporate employee. So I guess I'm a lot to a lot of different people. So I'm glad to be here. Appreciate you having me.
Nah, for sure. So let's start that over, okay? Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Indeed. Let's go into it, bro. We buy houses. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, we buy houses. So I got into real estate investing about 2 years ago. We know the pandemic hit us all pretty hard, right? And I was one of those people. And at the time, my pay was deducted about $1,000 per month. So I was making an okay salary, not a huge salary at all, just enough to pay the bills, right?
Indeed.
I probably literally had about $50 extra a month. So I was definitely paycheck to paycheck. And when I took that $1,000 pay cut because of the pandemic and having to slow things down, it really shined a light on my priorities. So at that moment, I really made a decision that no man would ever be responsible for my paycheck again.
Respect that.
And I started looking into opportunities to, grow a business on my own. And my brother had been talking to me about real estate forever. I was looking at other different business ventures. I never really paid them a lot of attention. I just knew that real estate would be kind of a long-term play, not anything really in the short term. But once again, really seeking an opportunity to take care of my family and not have to depend on someone else to do so, I dove headfirst into real estate.
Okay, hold on. So, because I heard in the introduction, you said ex-felon. So let's take a step back, okay? So on Billionaire Bankers, we discuss people who are in billion-dollar industries and people who are in multi-million-dollar industries, okay? Who are scaling their business to become in the billion-dollar bracket, okay? So let's take a step back. You said ex-felon. How did you get into real estate? Did you get into real estate before the felony or before or after the felony? Like, where did that take place?
Yeah, so I went to prison at the age of 16 for a couple of different violent crimes.
Okay.
And I was, as a juvenile, as an at-risk youth, just really dealing with poor decision-making skills.
Okay.
I knew the difference between right and wrong, but I decided to go the wrong path, and that landed me in prison for 8.5 years.
Oh, wow.
And that was a time when, I'd really hit rock bottom in my life and had to come to terms with my purpose in this world, which eventually led me to Islam. But I knew that my purpose had to be greater than just existing in life.
Indeed.
I understood, throughout that process that I was here for a reason.
That's a fact.
And that reason was to really just help impact other people and let them know that there's value in you, right? Regardless of where you are in life, there's value and you can always make a change.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Okay. So let's go into it. You said that's beforehand. I was in juvie. So when you came out, what was the mind state?
Yeah, so the mind state as a Muslim man was first and foremost to build a family. So I wanted a wife, I wanted children, and I immediately jumped into the workforce, into the rat race, right? I didn't want to go back to selling drugs and doing all that nonsense. And coming out as a felon, it's hard to get, like real jobs, what people would call real jobs. So I had to, find these little loose end jobs, and it landed me in McDonald's. And with McDonald's, I actually ended up kind of building a career. I worked with them for 12 years.
Oh wow.
6 months after starting with them, out of prison, they put me into a management development program, and I became a manager 6 months out.
You've always had leadership skills. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, from that point,
Okay.
right? I never really saw myself leading other people.
Got you.
I become kind of a leader of myself, and I stepped into leadership roles.
Okay.
Right. I definitely had leadership roles kind of throughout prison, but it's, from a corporate sense, I didn't see myself, running multi-million-dollar businesses and helping develop other people. And it was really through that process that I understood, once again, I'm here for a reason.
Indeed.
Right? Somebody could be coming in and, they just making minimum wage. They struggling to get by, but they don't really see the value in themselves. Me knowing that I literally went to prison, I was a drug addict, I was an alcoholic. I mean, I was a terrible individual. And for me to come out of prison and to become the person that I was, I knew that it wasn't only for me, right? This is a gift for everyone.
What's up, man?
So yeah, so going through the McDonald's journey, I also understood that, once again, when you're working for someone else, they control your path.
Indeed.
So throughout that process, I found different, business opportunities, and some were passion, some were more, money focused.
Okay.
But it was that journey that eventually led me into real estate.
Okay. So let me ask you this. I always speak about things like personal finance, before you get into investments. So I want you to elaborate on your corporate experience, because it sounds like your corporate experience brought you into the realm of real estate or entrepreneurship. No? Am I wrong?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. Once again, people, when I took a job at McDonald's, and when a lot of people take jobs at these fast food places, we fail to realize that we're part of a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? You think, when I first started, I think I was making like $625 or something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And when you're making that type of pay, which, if you're working 40 hours a week, you'll be glad to take home $200 a week. That's $800 a month, right? But so when you're in that state, you fail to understand that, once again, you're part of a $1 million machine.
Yeah, indeed.
The restaurant that I worked at, that I helped lead, we generated $3+ million a year. So it was being a part of that process that really helped me understand, once again, just kind of the inner workings of business, how to manage a P&L, how to develop people and grow people into, employees, basically, right? That helps you make this money while you just kind of sit at home and log in and see what your sales are for the day and keep it moving, right? So yeah, I definitely learned a lot about business management, finances, from working at McDonald's. And I would tell anyone, regardless of where you are, always find an opportunity to see value in what you're doing, and how you can translate that external value to more internal value that's going to help you later on down the line.
Indeed.
Right? Yeah.
Wow. Listen, based on what you just said, I mean, we can split that up in so many different ways. From the corporate world, learning about sales, because it sounds like McDonald's was a mentorship in a sense. No?
Yeah, when you're a student of life, right, and this is something that we learn, in Islam, right? There's a certain group of people who are referred to as students of knowledge, right? And you really understand the importance of knowledge, what it means to your daily life, and everything that exists in that, right? Relationships, business, hobbies, whatever. All of that is a part of our daily life. So really just kind of taking that and knowing that you always are a student.
Indeed.
Right? In every situation that you're in, it's an opportunity for you to learn. When you're at a place like McDonald's, once again, you just gotta know, like, if this person is actually making these $3 million, like, I'm helping them to make it. They just really sitting at home, right? And I'm here doing all the work. So just take advantage of every single opportunity that you're in, because you just never know when you can apply it later on.
Indeed. Okay, so let's jump into real estate. Okay. How did you know that this was gonna take off for you?
Yeah, I did know.
Okay.
Yeah, I did know, right? You know, once again, my brother, he talked to me about it for years. And I mean, you know, it was probably like back in 2013 that he started talking to me about real estate.
Okay.
And we know at that time, you know, or around that time, or subsequently later, um, you know, there was a lot of attention being drawn to real estate, right? I think Mark Whitten, you know, he was kind of the first one that I had seen publicly talking about real estate and how people, you know, more, you know, specifically black people, people in impoverished environments could actually get started in real estate with little to no money.
Mark,
right?
you said Mark.
Mark Whitten.
Okay, can you define who that might be?
Yeah, Mark Whitten, he's a real estate investor out of, I think, Baltimore. And he did a Breakfast Club interview, you know, years ago. He did several interviews, actually, just once again, speaking to how people like us, right, people like myself, just kind of working a dead-end fast food job could actually become entrepreneurs, could become real estate investors. And that was the first time I was introduced to it, you know, from a large scale.
Okay.
Right. But yeah, once again, my brother, he just kind of kept pushing it on me and pushing it on me until, you know, as I mentioned, I was in a position to where somebody else's decision was affecting my family, my ability to put food on the table.
Indeed.
And I said, you know what? I know it's an opportunity. I watched a couple of videos and I just kind of dove headfirst into the business, just hoping, having faith that this would lead me to where I wanted to be.
Okay, so I know that from my own experience reading and things of that nature, there's different parts of real estate. Okay, so what part did you dive into, or did you dive into multiple areas, or where'd you go with it?
Good question. So I dove into the lowest barrier of entry, right? Which most people refer to as wholesaling.
All right.
So there are a lot of different areas of real estate in terms of strategies, right, to acquire real estate, to grow real estate, and wholesaling is the lowest barrier that you can enter in through, because it takes very little money, which is what most people are gonna lack.
When you say a low amount of money, for our viewers, like what do you consider like a low amount of money?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, you know, I mean, I barely had $50 a month when I got started, right? I literally only had $50 a month, but I got started in real estate through bandit signs. So as you can see my shirt, we buy houses. You know, if you're out here driving around town, you're driving around the city, you might see a sign posted that says "We buy houses" and it has a phone number, and that's how I got started. I got a bonus from work. I think I got like $500-600, and I took that bonus and I went and bought like 500 bandit signs, something like that, and I would spend, you know, the next coming days and weeks, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, driving around the town, driving around the city, putting up bandit signs. And that was my introduction, right? Wow. People began to call and say, hey, I got a house I'm looking to sell. And I was in the door. I was in business. It was real.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's focus, dedication, and a whole lot of ambition, bro.
That's it. Those are the key ingredients.
Indeed. Okay, so where did you go from there? I'm saying, I know people are interested. They want to know more.
Yeah. So if you want to get started in real estate, it's really this simple, right? You just have to find sellers, homeowners who want to sell their homes, and they actually need to sell their homes, right?
That's on a wholesale end.
And real estate, period.
Okay.
Real estate, period. You know, if you're in residential real estate, which deals with, you know, single family homes, it deals with like townhouses, right? Mobile homes, just anywhere that an individual or family would want to stay from a residential perspective. That's residential real estate. But then you obviously have commercial, which is more office buildings like we're in now. You have multifamily. But regardless of the sector of real estate, the primary goal is to find people who want to sell, and you can purchase it at a deal, right? Which is typically below market value.
Okay.
Right? So not what you're going to see on the MLS, the multi-listing service, not what you're gonna see on Zillow or Redfin or any sites like this. We're talking about sellers who they want to sell and they need to sell, and they're gonna give you some equity in the deal.
Okay.
Right? That's what you're looking for, and you can find those people by doing a couple of different things. Right? You can find them by putting up banner signs. Banner signs takes a little money. You know, you literally can go to Lowe's or Walmart, get some corrugated plastic,
Okay.
the little cardboard or whatever, and you can literally write on there, "We buy houses," and a phone number, right? And people will call you, and that's a low cost. Or you can go out and get some professionally made signs, you know, that says basically the same thing and has your number on there, and that may cost a little bit more money. But I guess the thing that really takes no amount of money almost is you can drive around, and if you see a house that looks like it's ran down, looks like the grass is high, looks like it's abandoned, you know, you literally can search that address in most cases, and you can find out who owns that home, and you can find out contact information for that owner. And you can just simply call that owner up and say, "Hey, I saw your house over there on 123 Main Street. Looks like, you know, it needs some work.
Yeah.
Not sure if anybody's paying attention to it, but I'm looking to, you know, build up my community. Are you interested in selling it?"
Wow.
And from there, you can actually find a deal
Okay.
that, you know, you can apply multiple strategies to. But what wholesaling allows you to do is, if he says yes, and let's say he agrees to $10,000, if you know someone who wants a good property, right? They want a deal, and maybe they give you $15,000. They say, "Yeah, well, I'll pay $15,000 for that." Rather than you bringing any money into the deal to purchase that property, you can use that buyer's $15,000 to buy the house from the seller at $10,000, and you'll keep the $5,000 difference.
Gotcha.
And you never have to bring any money to the table. So that's what makes wholesaling such a low barrier to interest, but also makes it, you know, appealing and lucrative, right? And anyone can literally get started just by simply doing what I just said.
Okay. So, where do you plan on taking it?
Yeah, so the goal for me, you know, I really want to help, you know, other people like myself, right? Who, you know, you made mistakes in life, right? And I really want to help these individuals learn how to invest in real estate. Like, do I see myself as a billionaire real estate investor? You know, I don't know, you know, what God has planned for me. I just don't, right? You know, would I want something like that? You know, maybe. But what I am really shooting for is the ability just to take care of my family once again, not have to rely on anyone else to put food on my table, but also to be able to help other people do exactly what I've done in life. And that's just simply make a change.
Let me say this though. On this show, we're gonna shoot for $1 billion. Okay.
Billion, baby.
Billionaire bankers, well, content's accountable and verifiable. But nah, seriously. Okay. Right out of juvie, jumped into McDonald's, learned the game, got into real estate, and how's this market treating you right now?
It's treating me good.
You serious?
Yeah, it's treating me good.
How
It's
so?
treating me good.
How so?
So when I got into real estate, I was initially just kind of watching random YouTube videos.
Okay. I
Right.
think most of us, that's what we're doing.
And exactly. And you can definitely, you know, from the brother Bilal, you know, billionaire bankers, right? You can go on his channel, you can check out his content. You're going to learn a lot, right? And those are really, the building blocks.
Indeed.
Towards a different path in life, right? But I kind of graduated from that, and I found a guy by the name of Chris Jefferson.
Okay.
He's out of Virginia, and he actually had like a real estate program.
Got you.
And it was affordable for me. You know, at the time, I was, like I said, I only had like $50 a month extra.
Yeah.
I did get a slight raise, and then I had $100 a month, right? He had a program that was $100 a month.
Okay.
You know, that I can get in and learn about real estate. So I got started in that program, and it was actually that program that propelled me to where I am now. So just to kind of, you know, give you a snapshot of what my business looks like now versus what it looked like when I first got started. When I got started in this program, it was December of 2020.
Okay.
And I had been doing real estate since July. So for 6 months, I was putting out banner signs. I was talking to sellers. You know, I had even started buying lists. You can buy lists of homeowners. And I was calling those. And I hadn't gotten, you know, any success. Like I hadn't gotten any deals yet.
Okay.
right? So it was 6 months. But I was doing the work, and I was still working my 9 to 5, 70 plus hours a week. It was ridiculous.
Sheesh.
Outside of
Getting
that,
to the bread though, right?
I was having, you know, to run my business,
Yeah.
which I made it a business. I had an LLC, you know, I had the shirts, you know, and you don't have to go to that extreme, but that's what I did.
Indeed.
But when I got into this program and took heed to the steps that were illustrated, I got a call from a seller within the next 7 days.
Wow.
And that ended up being my first deal. So less than 30 days later, I was able to close on that deal for $2,100. So it wasn't, you know, a huge check or anything like that, but I had made an extra $2,100 all year.
Indeed.
Right? So that was pretty huge for me
Of course.
at the time.
Of course. So I celebrate those. Yeah.
Definitely. So my first check was $2,100.
Okay.
And now just kind of fast forward to these last 12 months, where I've actually been a full-time entrepreneur. I've been able to make well over 6 figures. And I learned those steps through that course once again. So that's how, just being a student, just always knowing that, you know, you don't know everything, whether it's about finances or whatever. You don't know everything, and you have to seek out people who do know and who can kind of help guide you sometimes.
So it sounds like, okay, so to lead into that, it sounds like mentorship in the juvenile detention center, becoming Muslim in there, correct? Going from there to McDonald's, getting that mentorship, okay? And then from there, getting the corporate mentorship, going through the programs. And trials and tribulations.
Definitely.
You know, that's a mentor, that's a teacher within itself.
That's it. life and experience are the biggest teachers, for sure.
For sure. Let's see. What about this? Let's go into it.
Yeah, so keep the change. So I wrote this back in 2019. Yeah, I think I published it at the beginning of 2020. And you know, it's crazy because at the time I started seeking a different career path. So, you know, I had been with McDonald's at that time for maybe 12 years, and felt I had kind of hit the tip of the iceberg. So I started pursuing a software engineering degree.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they had a tuition assistance program that I took. Once again, just take advantage of opportunities, right?
Indeed.
You know, you have to be a student at all times. And I said, if I want to do something different, you know, I have to do something different, right? So I took that course, or I applied for that degree program, and I was about 6 months in when my passion just kept burning away at me, right? And because when I started what I would say entrepreneur journey, you know, once back in the early, you know, 2010s, what I determined I wanted to do was kind of be a motivational speaker, right?
I can see that too.
Yeah, I spoke to youth throughout my entire prison experience. Like, they would bring in kids from the outside.
Wow.
So every camp that I was on, I was a part of whatever program they had, and we would speak to kids that were, once again, just making poor decisions, just acting up, you know, not knowing what they should do in life. I would speak to them. So when I came home, like, that's what I wanted to do, but life happens, you got to pay the bills. Indeed. So I just really jumped into work and didn't think any more about it until maybe 6 years later when I started taking some steps. But it wasn't until much later when I was in that degree program and I knew that wasn't my passion, that this was my passion, that I decided, you know, I'm going to put together a simple book, you know, 10 steps to really help anybody transform their lives, right? But it speaks from my personal experience as someone who went to prison. You know, I really could have been dead.
Indeed.
But God put it upon me to make those steps. And I wanted to find a way to pass this on to other people so that you could know how simple it really is, you know, even when it feels so hard. And I don't care if you're a drug addict or if you're someone who works a 9 to 5 and you know, maybe you even make good money. Indeed. But you don't know how to change into the next level to become the person that you really want to be, right? This can definitely help you.
Okay. Let's bring it back to the finances. I'm gonna get a little deeper, a little bit personal, okay? When you gain a check like $2,100, okay, what are you doing with it? are you reinvesting the money, or taking like the whole check and putting it into real estate, or are you reinvesting it into buying more goods, or um, Roth IRAs, or because you're an entrepreneur?
No, you're right. You're right. So at the time, I'm oblivious to just financial literacy,
Indeed.
right? Which makes what you're doing so important.
Thank you.
Because at the time, how old was I? This was just a couple of years ago. So I was 38, maybe, right? 38, 39, and still didn't understand financial literacy. Because it was nothing that I really applied myself to learning
Okay.
at a high level, but also it wasn't something that was talked about in my family, in my circle, right? Nobody talked about financial literacy, what you should be doing with your money. So when I got to 2100, thankfully I was a part of a program that could help guide me in that. So I knew to take that money, and if I wanted to actually grow a business, I had to put it towards the business. So one of the first things I ended up doing was getting a virtual employee. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So I got this virtual employee who resides in the Philippines, and I had them make calls to homeowners 8 hours a day to help generate leads.
Okay.
So that's what I did with that money. But I also took that money and bought more bandit signs.
Smart. Put that
Get
product back
started.
up there. Yeah.
Definitely get some marketing going. So most of it went into marketing efforts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have to formulate a marketing budget after a while, or?
Yeah, that would have been ideal, right?
Okay.
As I said, I'm not a financial literacy major like yourself.
Got you.
And oftentimes I conduct business, kind of by the seat of my pants. So it's more of a, it's not really a written out plan, which is not the best way to go. Okay, but it's more of a I know what needs to happen, and I'm just going to commit 100% to it.
Indeed. I know. Within passing, we spoke about. I said Salesforce to you. No plug too, because I'm not getting that check yet. But it's coming soon. CRM. Do you think that'll be ideal to add on to your company down the line as you grow it?
Yeah, so I do have a CRM.
Okay.
And that's important. Just having a means of organizing, your sales data, your customer base. That's what those tools are very important for.
Indeed. If I'm not mistaken, a CRM is a customer relationship manager.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. These are little tricks of the trade. Because your ambition is cool, your discipline is cool, but now you gotta start doing research and studying what other people are using, other tools. Put it together. Indeed. Listen, brother, I'm not gonna hold you any longer. If you have anything else you want to share, matter of fact, can we go into your name, bro? What does your name mean, bro? Because it's on the book. I know you mentioned your name. What does your name mean, bro?
Yeah. So Thabbit. So one definition of Thabbit is stubborn, but it is something that is firm, is constant, and that's what my life is predicated on, right? Just consistency, just applying a thing and seeing the fruits of it, at some point in time. So yeah, but definitely, if you want to check out the book, you can go to thabbitspeaks.com. You can check that out. And if you just need help, period, you can reach me, Thabbits Hedgepeth online. I'll plug in with you and help you anywhere that I can.
Okay, so outside of just the book, contact, and I'll definitely put the information up here for sure. Contact Thabbit for motivational speaking, Thabbit for the book, real estate, and much more to come. All right? Welcome to Billionaire Bankers World. Content is accountable and verifiable. All right? Peace.